I forgot what they call it. You told me what they call it. I forgot. What
It's
was it?
okay, agency owner.
State Farm agency owner out of the Tidewater area of Virginia, but she's licensed in a bunch of states. And we're in this midst of a national crisis with the coronavirus, and she's here to help us. I asked her to come. She graciously accepted to come and help us to navigate through some things I think will help our community. We're talking life, health, disability, business, and even some resources for musicians to tap into, and even for churches to tap into during this crisis, and even beyond the crisis, being prepared for future situations that may come about. So, Vera, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Philip. I am gracious and glad to be here.
Good, good. So let's talk about insurance. You know, we're in the midst of a national crisis. What should people be thinking about right now?
The first thing everyone should do is they need to know what type of insurance and insurance policies they have and which ones are currently in effect. And now is no time to make sure that it lapses. You want to reach out to your insurance companies, and if they haven't provided an extension already, you want to ask if they will grant you one. So you want to reach out to every single policy and find out about every single type of policy you currently have in place.
Wow, wow. And so people that are dealing with health concerns and things like that, they may be not have a job or whatever, and they have health concerns. Is there anything that can be done through the insurance portal that could help them?
Yeah, so I'll talk about two type of policies specifically, and let's talk about the disability policy. Policies you want to check that if you have at your job or that you even signed up outside of your job. For example, we do have disability policy, short term and long term disability. We are still issuing policies right now, and right now we don't have a current moratorium, and we don't know when and if that will go into effect.
Right.
So with
So this is
dis,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
So this is a good time for people to take advantage, right?
It's a good time right now. It's an excellent time that if you don't have the proper insurance, that you find out and make a way to get the type of insurances that you need to. In such a social climate that we're in now, the world has changed, so we need to be aware of the risks, and we need to fill those gaps that are in those gaps that are missing.
Right. So, you're also kind of saying that the window of opportunity is still open. We haven't reached a point in this social climate that opportunities and doors have started to close. So, this is a prime time to take advantage of some of the things dealing with insurance. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, and you will have to call, if you call another individual insurance agency besides myself, you will have to find out exactly if they're still issuing policies. But as of right now, we are still issuing policies in this climate, and we haven't received a date or any time frame that it would change. It could change next week. So right now, you really want to be vigilant about knowing what you have.
So I'm a musician. There are a lot of people like me across the country. How important is life insurance right now?
Life
Um,
is life insurance is very important. The first thing you want to do is you want to find out what type of policies that you have, if you have any. Okay, primarily life policies fall into two different areas. One is whole life and one is term life. Whole
mhm.
life builds cash value. So as you're paying into the policy, there's a cash value that you can borrow against that's tax free. So if you currently have a life policy that you've been paying for whole life and you don't have money for groceries or something, you might want to look at what is available before funds start dwindling, and if you have money available in there that you could take out with no tax implications at all.
Right. So as a musician, a lot of us, we lost gigs, we lost money. If we had a whole life policy in place right now, we could have dipped into that as a way as a backup resource. Am I correct?
That's correct. That's correct. You could borrow money from your policy once you have your policy in place. Typically, with whole life policies, they grow dividends is to insurance what interest is to the stocks. And
Okay.
so what with that, State Farm has never missed a dividend in all of its years, 96 years, not through the housing
Hmm.
bubble, not through the recession, through any time, and there was no money ever lost on those policies. So with a whole life policy, when you pay your premium, a certain amount of that goes to build a cash value. And then there may be dividends paid on top of that cash value, which would allow that cash value to grow. So in this time, if you would have prepared before now and put money into the whole life policy, there could be money there for you to withdraw.
Got you, got you. So let's talk business. You know, a lot of businesses are in need, or they will be in need a month from now, because people are not buying because people have been told to stay home in this social crisis. What can businesses do? The businesses that already have policies, and maybe the businesses that need to get a policy. Let's start with those who have policies already. What are some checkups they need to do to see what they currently have offered to them in this crisis?
So the first thing I encourage everyone to do is to read the fine print. Get a copy of your policies and take stock to see what you have available. One of the items in business insurance that is currently being debated, we don't know if Congress is going to require the insurance to honor it or not, is business loss income. And
Mm,
so business loss income typically comes from if there's an accident such as a fire or some unforeseeable event that would cause you to not be able to make money for your business. Currently, in some policies, that viruses and epidemics are excluded. But again, we with the current state of affairs, we do not know if exceptions would be made at this point. So you want to know if there's business loss income and if there what are the stipulations of that business loss income policy. Also, you want to make sure for your business policy, you want to make sure check and see what's actually covered. Is your
mm,
building covered? If there's going to be a lot of businesses and everyone's going to be closed and no one's supposed to be in the street. Well, what happens if your business gets broken into? How are you covered? Are you going to have to you don't want to have to pay for restoring a broken window when you're already trying to make amends and stay alive in this current environment.
right. So with business businesses need to know what's covered in their policy. What about those who don't have a policy right now? And then you wanted to talk about the Small Business Association too, and the things that they are helping out with. So if I'm a business, I don't have business insurance. Is it wise to try to get it now, or should I wait till after the crisis is over?
I would get it now and I would get it as soon as possible. I personally would not want to take the chance in the social climate that I would have to recover even more, even more so if I don't have insurance. We don't know the extent of what's going to happen, but you want is the risk greater than the reward? So could you afford to stay in business if your whole business was ramshacked? These are the type
Hmm.
of things you want to be uh, taken into consideration right now. So I would definitely make sure that I was covered and that my equipment was covered and that even people can check in some of their business policies to your personal equipment, your equipment that you have inside your business, your office computers, these type of things. Can you afford your business equipment, your recording studio? Can you afford to lose these things? And if the answer is no, I definitely would look at business insurance.
I mean, I know prices vary, but how much does business insurance, like, can you give me a ballpark figure of an average business? Would I be paying monthly?
Yes, you can pay monthly, annually, semi-annually. They'll take your
I'm
money
saying, but
anytime.
is there a specific amount, or is
Oh,
it
a
based on?
specific amount.
Yeah.
It depends on what type of policy you want to write. Typically, business policies I see around from $40 to $100 a month. It depends. Again, you would need to contact your agent or a knowledgeable person, such as myself, directly because are you working? There's going to be certain stipulations. Is your business run out of your home? You may qualify for a renter's policy. Um, where is your business and location at? How much coverage do you need? What type of items you need to be covered? So there may
Right.
be a blend or a hybrid of policies that you need to cover for the business insurance.
So we've covered life, health, and business, and people. It's just important right now, as we learn, as we go through this crisis together. It's important that we have these things in place, not just for now, but for the future. It's just important. And please pass this along when you watch this video. Share it with somebody. Let them know insurance is important. Let's talk about disability insurance. What is how do
Before we
you?
move on to disability insurance, let me
Uh,
discuss some of the things that they can do now if they don't have business
Go ahead. Go
insurance.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's talk about the SBA.gov.
Hmm.
Currently, they are offering disaster relief loans, and I emphasize loans, so you want to
Hmm.
be careful. I know that credit is a criteria, so before you apply, check your credit report. So you don't want any surprises, snafus, but organizations, the loans are available to organizations as well as businesses.
Are
So
they are the do you know the typical credit score that a business owner needs to have?
they haven't released that yet, and we're not sure yet if they're going to. They are still negotiating in Congress right now. They haven't released that. They've refused to release it and haven't provided any information on what your credit score has to be. They are supposed to release other options that if you don't have a great credit score, that you will still be able to get another type of loan, but they have not released that as of yet.
Okay. Okay. So, y'all, there's a lot here. Vera has really educated us on. Vera, thank you so much. This is great information, and it's going to really help a lot of people, I believe. Concerning disability insurance, what should we be looking for? Should all of us have disability insurance? Talk to us about that.
Yes, you definitely want to look at disability insurance. Typically, you have two types of disability insurance. One is short term disability, and another type is long term disability. Short term disability is usually a little less expensive than long term disability. Long term disability could get expensive, but the average time for a Social Security claim to go through is about 2 years. So, in the event that anything happens to you during that time frame and you need income, you're able to purchase disability policies for to replace income. For example, you don't even have to get a certain amount. You could, if you have a car payment and you know you don't want to lose your car or your house, maybe you can't afford to get all of your income replaced, but as much of your income replaced that you can get, then you want to put those type of policies in place. So you can get a policy for $300, so you can make sure that your car payment is still paid. You can get one for uh, $1,000 a month or whatever your mortgage is, whatever income that you need can't live without and need replaced.
Well, you've offered some great information, y'all. This is Vera Dixon. She's a business owner. She stepped out on faith last year. This is what I know because I've known her for a year now. She stepped out on faith last year to start her own business, and she's doing very, very well. And she owns a subsidiary office of State Farm. And if you need to contact her, her number's on the screen. Any questions about life, health, business, and disability, and some other things as well. She'll also be joining me for our IGA conference this year, taking place July the 9th through the 11th, barring any other things that we have going on with the country. We'll be having that conference in Chesapeake, Virginia. And so, Vera, is there any final thing you'd like to say to people who uh, are watching this broadcast?
Yes, I want to just remind people to be encouraged. Take inventory of what you have. Call your job. Find out, even though you're laid off, you still may have some benefits. You want to make sure you're able to use those. You may have added money to um, a flexible spending account for or healthcare spending account HSA at your job, where you can use that to pay for bills. Our disability policy that we still have active is our health policy we still have active is we have a hospital income policy that most of the time for most people is between $20 to $40 a month. If you're in the hospital for any reason, um, admittance, 200 it pays you directly $250 a day. It doesn't send it to the insurance agents. It doesn't send it to the insurance company. It doesn't send it to the hospital. It sends it directly to you. So you want to check with your jobs and check with your insurance agent to ensure and see what type of policies you have. Flexible spending accounts. And health spending accounts, you may have put money towards those during the year. And with putting money towards those during the year, you could use that money for medication and different things and not spend your money that you're trying to conserve at this time on other things that it can be paid for with. So check your policies at work. I encourage everyone to just take a minute to stop and reflect, see where they are. Don't wait until you get into a health crisis, because a lot of times you, with a health crisis, once you're already in it, sometimes it makes you uninsurable and unable to purchase insurance at that point. So insurance protects you against risk. So before those things happen, take stock, see where you are. And I just want to encourage everyone in this season and this climate to not focus on being encouraged and the positive. I've seen a lot of gloom, but I want to take time. I'm smiling, I'm laughing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Okay,
Amen.
I'm going through a lot of the same things other people are going through. You know, I have staff at my job, and I have to figure out from a budget perspective, if I'm gonna, reduce hours or how we're gonna handle this. So don't think that I'm exempt. But I want to encourage everyone that to keep their focus and be still for a minute, see where God is leading you in the revelation. And also another item I want to talk about is small business owners. And we learned a lot of this at the Indie Gospel Alliance last year, and the CCLI is going to be there this year. So I encourage everyone with their streaming. And Philip didn't tell me to say this. I'm saying this on my own. In fact, I paid them to be there. But the CCLI, you want to protect yourself and find out what about streaming. They're going to be there in the conference. This is invaluable information that can protect you and your family from being sued. And you want to make sure you have business insurance to cover the gap in between. So all of these are different types of things that organizations and churches want to make sure that they are protected. If you have a policy you want to review, even if you're not my client, call me. I'm here for the community. I have a lot of experience inside the gospel community with artists. So call me if you have any questions at all. I want to ensure that you're protected and that we're doing everything we can to also make resources available to people and that they know about the resources available to them.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much, Daddy. That's everything.
That's
Yeah,
everything.
I think you got it. And of course, we're praying for you and your business. I own a business, so I definitely understand the stress and anxiety and strain of this period. So, thank you so much. And this won't be the last time we do an interview. This one was pre-recorded, but the next time we hope to be live when I believe there's too many people on the line right now. So I will be talking with you soon, Ms. Vera. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and blessings to you as well.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.